Hey folks, Steve here with a unboxing video today. I am fortunate enough to have received my bundled package from GMT this month with the new games, new printed things that they had going this spring that were delayed in part by the COVID situation. And so happy to get some new games, more games than I can play. We're going to do some unboxing here now. I also received, along with the game in front of you, Imperial Struggle and Forever War, the Labyrinth expansion. I'm going to do a unbagging video for the Labyrinth expansion. People have already been doing Imperial Struggle stuff, so I'll leave it to the rest of the world. But nobody seems to be focused on this yet. Maybe they haven't gotten it yet, who knows? So we're going to dig into this one and check it out. And I apologize to any folks who are seeing this video and are who subscribe to the channel and are we're hoping to see another World in Flames video. I'm sorry guys, life has just gotten so busy and it's just been so tough to get any free time away to do anything. Even doing this is a time commitment thing. So let's get right into it. So this is the Men of Iron tri-pack. It includes Men of Iron, Infidel, and Blood and Roses, so the first, second, and third volumes in the series, designed by Richard Berg, who is now sadly passed away, and also developed by Ralph Shelton, and I know Ralph. He's a nice guy. So I get disclaimer there. I don't know, but there you go. I had covered briefly, or I talked about it briefly, the fourth volume in the series, known as Arquebus. So I have played Arquebus with a friend. I really enjoyed my time with it. I haven't really done a review or dug much deeper into this game on the channel, but I did have fun with it. I've mentioned in a couple of videos. And I liked it enough that, I settled on making sure to get this tri-pack when it was on the P500. So now I have the whole thing here. So let's take a look at this thing. It is the double thick box, sturdy box, so it's got basically 3 games in it, or what were published as 3 games. There's a little bit more in it as well, so I'm going to flip it on its back and just kind of show that it's talking about Men of Iron, Infidel, Blood and Roses. It technically includes Agincourt, the Battle of Agincourt, which was in an old C3I magazine. I don't have that issue of C3I, so this is an extra bonus that I do enjoy, and you can see here the list of battles that are included in the game that stretch from 1097 during the Crusades down to Bosworth in Leicestershire in 1485. So a lot of range, and what should be cool is if you're looking at playing different battles in the box, you're going to get to appreciate the differences in force compositions and the stressing of different types of units and the terrain and all that good stuff. So very cool. Let me zoom out here again, and we'll get the packaging ripped off this thing and check out what's inside. Now, I haven't seen anything on folks getting their copy yet, so I don't know if there's anything I should be aware of as we go into this. But it should have everything that we need. GMT always does a good job there, so shouldn't be too worried about that. Okay, so let's open it up and check it out. Heavy box. There we go. Okay, so what do we start off with? Well, here's the rules manual, and it is addressed for the tri-pack, so it looks like, the idea is you're not getting 3 different rule books. You're likely just getting the one rule book that will govern all of the battles, and it's going to give you your basic stuff: sequence of play, leader and command, activation, movement, facing, zones of control, stacking, missile fire, shock, blah, 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 right? Everything that kind of teaches you how the game is played itself. Coming in at 28 pages, nothing too crazy. And it does call out changes from the original editions of the game, so it looks like the games have individually gotten maybe a once-over, and we can kind of see, you can see they kind of listed out, all known errata included, blah, 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 some things if you're used to the older versions or what have you. So that's pretty cool. Good stuff there. Because I've already played Volume 4, the Arquebus game, I have a pretty good feel for how it plays. I do like the system. It is very similar to Great Battles of History, if a little bit simpler, maybe in some ways, but it's very close. It's very similar. And so that's good stuff there. You can see, obviously, it's color, but matte, paper. So I'm not probably describing that correctly, but you can easily make notes in here if you're the type of person that wants to do that. But it looks like everything is two-column format as you would expect. It's got flavorful artwork along the way, colored charts, all that good stuff. So looking good so far. Then we get into the battle book. So I suspect there's going to be one for each game. So here is the battle book for Infidel, which was the second game. You can see volume 2. Also color, coming in at 28 pages, showing the different battles, which focuses on the Crusades, so Antioch, Ascalon, so on and so forth, and including an example of play and an extended sequence of play on the back. It looks like each battle takes up a couple pages, so that you get the full unit placement information, an example of a map, configuration, some more flavorful artwork. You're going to get the typical historical background for the battle with commentary from, I would think, Richard Berg. And yeah, so pretty much to be what I would have expected based on the fourth volume. And there you can see some of the example of play with pictures and showing and describing kind of what's going on in that example of play, which is always helpful. So that's the Infidel, I'm going to guess. Yeah, here's the Men of Iron, Volume 1. Very similar, all similar content. I think one of the improvements they made over the original editions of the games that were included is that the units have color banners on them to help you determine which units belong to which formation, which is an advancement over the previous edition. So that's some goodness there. And then we've got Blood and Roses, Battles from the War of the Roses. So this would have been Volume 3, and similarly, you get all of that there, all the same type of thing, all the same quality. So a lot of paperwork for you, a lot of good stuff to look through and read. Very similar in quality to the SPQR Great Battles of History combo pack, where you get a ton of cool stuff. So here we get into the counters. Now, I can already tell right now these appear to be brown core counters, which means these are going to punch pretty easily, and they're going to be pretty high quality counters. So I'm careful. I don't want to punch them out yet, but already that's a good sign. And it looks like, and I'm not familiar enough with things to really know how this is supposed to work. I'm not crazy, am I? These are different size counters. I wonder if that's intentional. So you have, this is kind of interesting, you have the, smaller counters, I forget what size, half-inch counters or whatever, on this counter sheet here, but then you have this counter sheet 8, that is, what is that, like the 5/8 inch counters? And I don't know if maybe they're different size counters because this is the Agincourt counter sheet, and they are just working with different size counters. That's probably what it is. But it looks like each of these counter sheets is brown core, so again, should be easy to punch. Everything is pretty clear on the counters themselves. I mean, I won't dive too deeply into these, but you can kind of see different units, the leaders, the counter colors, the banner colors to help get organized. I like to organize these kind of things by the battle if I can, so just depending on the nations involved, organization will come into play there. And yeah, lots of counters here, guys, right? You can see just across all of the games, again, very much like the SPQR reprint, we're talking quite a number of counter sheets to punch and to have fun there with. So, careful with your punchers. And then we start getting into the maps, which obviously, we're going to have a lot of these maps, right? Because it's 3 games in one. Each game even had multiple maps. So the Battle of Teuton, and then it's got on its reverse side 2 different maps. One for Antioch and the other for Ascalon. You just kind of see that's upside down, but You can kind of see the different, the city terrain and then the flat terrain outside of it. And on the other side here, the Battle of St. Albans. So you can kind of see like they're making use of the sheets to cover multiple games. So there's some games from the Infidel game, and on the back are some of the War of the Roses ones. All these are paper maps. You can see but the terrain is nice and clear, hex-based with the number designations for the hexes. I won't pull out every single map sheet, but knowing that they're double-sided and you could have some of these just being half mappers, 1, 2, 3, 4 maps, 5 maps, 6 maps. Oh, okay, so this is the Agincourt, so it is a different dimension here. So the hexes are bigger on this one, so that makes sense as to why the 5/8 counters are there. They are indeed for Agincourt. I had that right. So, we got maps galore, right? Hard to go wrong there. And then we've got the player aid sheet. So this is a Men of Iron Volume 1 sheet. Looks like they have the specific charts for each game. So that was Volume 1. This is the Infidel, two each of the Infidel player aid sheets. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that there's 2 of each of the Blood and Roses, and there is. So you're covered there. Now I do wonder if they're going to have something there for Agincourt, but you might not need it just between all the other sheets. You've got Victory Point Tracker for Volume 1, Victory Point Tracker for Volume 2, and on the back of the 2 is Volume 3 for Blood and Roses. And then, we get a couple of 10-sided dice, and then the divider, which, some people like, some people dislike. Nothing much to that. Decide how you will if you want to use it. So there you go, guys. That's the unboxing of the Men in Armor, Men of Iron, I'm sorry, Men in Armor. God. Men of Iron tri-pack. Lots of content here, obviously, intentionally. This is a game that, this product is really 3 games in one. Lots to enjoy here, knowing that, Richard Berg has passed. This may be, this and Arquebus may be all we see of the Men of Iron series, depending on what happens in the future. But I think, if you look at Great Battles of History and you see the broad conflicts that Great Battles of History covers, and they sort of stopped when it got to the Middle Ages or medieval time period, this kind of picks up where it leaves off. It is a slightly different system, but it is very similar. And with my experience of the game, I've really had a lot of fun with Arquebus, so looking forward to playing this. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe. I do unboxing videos, game reviews, a lot of in-depth gameplay session report videos, though it's getting harder and harder these days to do those. But yeah, Men of Iron tri-pack, Men of Iron, Infidel, Blood and Roses, designed by Richard Berg, published by GMT Games. See you next time, guys.